My name is Moritz. My German name is Moritz, but hard to pronounce, so Moritz. And I'm a German, but I was actually born in the US, in Torrance, Los Angeles, but moved to Germany when I was quite young. And then when I was 14, 15, moved back to the US, but somehow I'm rather German than an American. But there are two hearts beating in my chest, and the third one arrived just now as I came to China. So I think that the kind of China dream, China longing, desire came about 7 to 8 years ago. And at that time it was a bit of an irrational just attraction towards this huge country, this so different country, different culture, and great country on many levels. So back at that time, it was something like a rather irrational longing for something to experience. I discovered that compared to the Western culture, the Chinese culture is completely different. It's not just a bit different in comparison, but I think the basis, the foundation, is just a different one. And I'm eager to experience the other. I'm eager to experience what could be the alternative to our way of life or to our mindset. And I think it's fascinating to see how is Marxism working in China? How is socialism working with a Chinese face? So I think through experiencing the other represented through China, it might also be possible to understand more and appreciate more deeply, but also see the limitations of who we are in the West, if it's possible to say we, or who I am, where I come from. So it's a quest, a longing for stepping into some kind of exchange from both sides. I came to China, well, it's about a month ago now, but I spent 3/4 of that time in one room in Chengdu in an isolated way in a quarantine hotel. So after I arrived in Chengdu, we were transported to the quarantine hotel, and I quickly realized, well, there's going to be a problem because the quarantine hotel is not planning on delivering food to us, but they're expecting us to order it from outside. But at that time, I didn't have a Chinese bank account, and my German credit card wouldn't work on WeChat. So I had no method of payment. And then there was a wonderfully helpful lady who was the room next to me, and we exchanged WeChat contact information. So from the first day on, she would write me a message a couple of times a day, just asking, how's everything? Do you want me to order some fruits? Do you want me to order some dinner, lunch, whatever? So it was a very nice relationship between two people isolated in two different rooms. That was a nice first experience of, in some way, Chinese hospitality and friendliness, which I've experienced in many situations so far in China, especially at TBC. China has a zero-case policy, and that basic decision seems to have many consequences. For example, when I entered the airplane, all the people working in the airplane, they were dressed up all over in these protective clothes, protective gear. And this is something that you rarely see in Germany anywhere, not even in hospitals. So in the first moment I was a bit, maybe even afraid. I felt like being in a science laboratory and waiting, what are they going to do with me? But I realized these are all consequences of a zero-case policy. And that battle at the moment is not even fought in Germany. So maybe the COVID response somehow clearly shows some deeper differences between the two systems that we have in China and in the West, or at least in Germany. I think the first time I heard about TBC was after already having developed the desire to go to China. And it was a former professor and even director of TBC through whom I first heard the name. Through him I kind of got aware of TBC. and realized that TBC is a wonderful place, and also the potential or the mission of TBC, I think, is a fascinating one, to create bridges between the Western world, the Chinese-speaking world. So I wonder whether this mission that TBC, in my eyes, has, building up trust, building up relationship between the two sides, a relationship that is not just reduced to terms of interest, but genuine relationship. I think that's just a beautiful mission, and I experience it here just, in firsthand with the people working here at TBC, which are friendly and welcoming to me and helpful in a way that, is already building bridges.